This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When Sim passed the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock, who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Postgame reviews, this the place you tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.
Knicks family, what's poppin'? It's your boy. Ladies and gentlemen, 109-96, the New York Knicks defeat the Boston Celtics to move into 5th place in the Eastern Conference. And, ladies and gentlemen, the Knicks are playing some really, really good basketball. Their 6th game in a row, 6th win in a row. I think they are 3 games above 500 at home now. And, things are looking good for the New York Knicks. They play the Brooklyn Nets next. And it's all mixed in there. We're going to talk about it because, if the Knicks get that win, they could possibly go 2 games above the Nets for that 5th seed. So let's talk about it, ladies and gentlemen. I got a couple of guys here. Let's see who we got. We got Tony, Nate, and Uncle Fulio in the building. Yeah, let's get it in. Tony, what's popping, brother? How you feeling?
Peace, Sim. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the panel. Yo, Black is time. I'm feeling good, man. I'm feeling good. This streak, you know what I mean? Let's keep streaking.
Yeah,
peaking.
Man.
You know what I mean? I don't know what to say, bro. We out here.
Hey, man, if it feels good, it just feels good that, for the Knicks to be winning basketball games and to have built the team, what some people would say is the right way, if that's what you want to call it. I mean, they built it. You know what I mean? Now, they're going to make moves at some point in time in the future, that maybe people will grumble about, some people are like, but this particular team right here really feels good because they really did build it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? By drafting players, adding pieces here, adding pieces there, they built this team, and right now, they're seeing the fruits of their labor.
And you know what? There's no more worrying either. You know what I mean? Trade deadline's over. You know what I mean? Everything is solidified. The rotation is full and back to full capacity as far as like the guys in the rotation. You know what I mean? So things like that is just it's right at the right time. I feel like right at the right time.
Yeah, definitely. Josh, what's up, man?
Evening, fellas. Evening to the chat out there. Salute to NBK fam. I'm very elated with this team right now. I'm so happy that they're finding their way. 6 games in a row. This feels there's so many parallels you can point to with the season 2 seasons ago, or the year 2 seasons ago when the Knicks were streaking at the right time towards the end of the season after they picked up Derrick Rose. There's a parallel with that with Josh Hart, right? And the way this team is winning by playing defense, and they just firing on all cylinders right now. So I'm very, very excited. I just want to say that the team is doing way better than what I expected. I said they were mediocre the entire season, but this is actually a good team. But with that comes increased expectations towards the playoffs. Now, I'll talk about that a little bit later, but I'm just happy right now.
Yeah. Nate?
Complete win. They played great. Couldn't say anything really bad about the game tonight. I think that they, have the confidence that they can beat any of the best teams in the NBA. And, it's the young players that are really stepping up, and the confidence is just oozing out of them. And that's really good to see because that shows the maturation and that shows the development of your staff that's been working with these players.
Yeah. The only thing that I would say is I thought they were shaky towards the end of the game, even though it was most likely out of hand. I just thought they was a little bit shaky and just a little bit shaky down towards the end of the game. You know what I mean? It just so happens in this game, it didn't matter because of the score. But in another game where it's tight, it could matter. I felt like they was a little bit shaky down the end of the game. I know they had a 20-point lead. I didn't expect them to hold the lead, at 20 points. They're playing the Celtics. You know what I mean? So I expected that the Celtics were going to make a run. So when the game got down to, 8 points, I wasn't really upset about that. To me, it wasn't like, early in the season when the Knicks kept building leads and then losing them. It wasn't the same way to me because of who you're playing. You know what I mean? But then each time the Celtics made a run, the Knicks would come right back with another run and take it back up to 14, 15-point lead. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead, Tom.
I feel like a lot of times we would lose leads for the most part, like all in one shot. You know what I mean? And tonight in particular, every time they run, we had a timely shot. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then we went on a timely stretch. So I feel like that was like, you know what I mean, part of maybe why I agree with you, and I felt different. Like it wasn't worrisome. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like everything felt like, all right, they want to run. Let's stop the bleeding. Boom. You know what I mean? Let's get back to what we doing well. And the substitutions, whether you like the patterns or not or whatever, every substitution felt like it was effective. You know what I mean? Like you see the difference after the sub, after each time. So I think Tibbs played just as good a game as the team.
Yeah, and there was a lot of unsung heroes, I guess you might say. Like when the Celtics would go on the run, Mitchell Robinson would come up with a big block or a big rebound or a big putback. Josh Hart would come up with a big steal. You know what I mean? Emmanuel Quickley would hit some big shots.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
A lot of people in the chat down on RJ. He had a 6-0, 8-0 run.
Yeah,
and that was huge.
No doubt about it.
At a crucial time. You know what I mean? So it was like
no doubt about it. He didn't shoot the ball well. 10 points, shot 28% from the field, 33% from three. But there was that point in maybe it was the third quarter, maybe it was second quarter. Maybe it's the second quarter. I think it was the second quarter. I think it was the second quarter because I remember him hitting the shot in the corner next to the Knicks bench, I believe. Right? Yeah. And the Celtics were third quarter. I think maybe it was third quarter. I don't remember. I don't know. But he had the oop to Mitch. Right? And then he scored a bucket, then he hit a three in the corner. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And by himself, he scored 5 points by himself, 7 with the assist to Mitch. He at least assisted on 2 points.
But then he scored right after the timeout as well.
Okay, yeah, he scored a floater shot.
Yeah, he did.
Like
he scored right after the timeout. So I mean, that was a big point because the Celtics, I think it was in the second quarter, the Celtics had went on a 10-0 run or something, 12-0 run. You know what I mean? And that stretch of basketball brought it right back up to like a 14, 15-point lead. You know what I mean? So even RJ had his moments. He might not have been great in the second half. Had five turnovers. But he contributed to the win as well because that was a crucial moment in the game. For the Knicks to then still go into the half up, 60-46 after the Celtics made a run. That was a point in time that you needed them to show up at that point in time. You know what I mean?
Hey, Sim.
Yeah, go ahead.
I want to give Thibodeau credit because in today's NBA, where you have a lot of coaches conceding to the players, Thibodeau won't do that. And I applaud him that if RJ is struggling, with turnovers and all that, he's not afraid to pull the hook on him. And a lot of people were upset because he did that with Obi. But he's showing consistency with players that are struggling. And the fact is that we didn't see RJ a lot in the second half, more so because Quickley was playing really, really well. But the thing is that he's not afraid to pull RJ and say, hey, dude, if your game's not coming tonight, you're going to sit on the bench.
Yeah.
And somebody else is going to come in.
I think part of that is the acquisition of Josh Hart and the emergence of Emmanuel.
Oh, absolutely, too. Yeah, we talked about that, too.
I think Tibbs was always willing to do that. I just don't think he felt like he had the dogs to do it at the time, whether it be last year or 2 years ago. Yeah. I think now with Josh Hart and his team and Emmanuel Quickley taking that next step, I think Tibbs has the luxury of doing that now.
Sure, yeah.
And to to be fair, it's kind of saving RJ's off nights or whatever, because now you don't have to have him on the floor to consistently shoot that or whatever, or commit mistakes, because you have someone to come in the game to give better production and play better, right?
Yep.
So
and that's a big key right there. You gotta have the people. How can you get mad if your best, if someone who is struggling is still 50% better than the guy coming off the bench? You know what I'm saying? And so it's like, well, I got to keep him on the floor because he still gives me more than the guy that would be coming in for him. You gotta do that. I think RJ didn't play as much in the second half because he made a big turnover in the fourth quarter. That was already that made Tom Thibodeau kind of upset. I seen when Tom Thibodeau called the timeout, RJ turned the ball over. He penetrated to the basket, threw it out. I think he was trying to get it to Josh Hart. Maybe they picked it off. Tom Thibodeau called the timeout, and I could see him. I read his lips. He pointed at the time. I didn't know who he was bringing in. I just seen him point and say, "Get RJ." Right, and then when they came back out, Jalen Brunson was in the game for RJ Barrett. Right, and I think RJ wasn't going to play the last 6 minutes of the game anyway, in my opinion. You know what I mean? So now you're talking about he pulled him out with about 9 minutes left in the third quarter. He missed 3 minutes of his time that was going to be there on the floor. He still played 25 minutes, almost 26 minutes. You know what I'm saying? So, what are you going to do? You that's what you got to do. He's there to coach the team to win basketball games. And he's going to put the players on the floor and put the lineups on the floor at whatever point in time during the game that he thinks is going to win him the game.
Yep.
And
he also shot a bad three too in the game.
Who?
RJ in the second half, I think, shot a bad three after they came out of the half. He barely hit rim, and I think then he turned it over too. So I think it was kind of like a microcosm of, like, dude, you're not hitting your shot, you're turning over the ball. You got to sit down.
Yeah, but that's what the coach is supposed to do.
I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it.
Regardless if that's your third pick or the baby of the franchise, whatever it is, that's how the coach has to. That's how the coach has to.
But how many coaches would do that? That's my point. Is like Tibbs is not afraid to pull the best players out and say, "Hey, you got to sit down." Now, I mean, obviously, Jalen Brunson and Randall have a little bit more leeway than RJ does, but the fact is that he understands that RJ's struggling, and he can't. You're going to get diminishing returns if you keep him in the game too long. So you got to get him in his minutes where he had that little run, and then he kind of fell off a little bit. So, hey, you just try to get what you can out of him when he's on the floor.
Yeah. Well, RJ tonight, 10 points, 7 rebounds, 2 assists. Didn't really shoot well from the field. Julius Randle and Emmanuel Quickley led the team in scoring with 23. Randle, 23 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists. I mean, he didn't shoot crazy, from the field. It wasn't one of those nights. He shot 43.8% from the field and 33% from the three-point line. Only 16 shots for Randle tonight. Emmanuel Quickley, 23 points. He was hot. He was 7 for 13 from the field, 4 for 7 from the three-point line. And then Jalen Brunson had 17 points and 3 assists. He didn't really shoot the ball well. He shot 33% from the field. He was 9 for 12 from the free throw line, though, tonight. And he was 0 for 4 from the three-point line. 17 points, 4 assists tonight for Jalen Brunson. 12 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists for Josh Hart. And then another unsung hero was Mitchell Robinson. Another double-double. 10 points, 13 rebounds, 2 steals, and 2 blocks. You know what I'm saying?
Huge block on Tatum.
Mitch is doing his thing as he's come back from. You know what I'm saying? He's doing his thing. Tony, what's your thoughts on Mitch, man?
That's 3 in a row. And I was worried, I ain't gonna lie, more so not about Mitchell Robinson in general, but I thought it was going to take a couple games for him to kind of get reacclimated. And nope, he playing like he never left. You know what I mean? Like, and again, it's only 3 games, but hopefully I could keep saying this because it's going to be it's gonna start equaling out to consistency. You know what I mean? So that's 3 games in a row with that double. You know what I mean? Let's see how many more he could get.
Yeah.
Let's see if he could bring his average up by the end of the year to averaging a double. You know what I mean? And that would be career highs in both areas.
I also feel like Mitch was hitting the weights over that break too.
He looked
He
bigger.
looks a little bigger, doesn't he?
Yeah, he
More
does.
broad on the shoulders.
I've been saying that for 3 games as well. Like he looks stronger out there. You know what I mean? Like stronger.
Well, Mike Breen brought up the point in the game where he said that this injury that he had, he's still able to work out and do cardio and all that, which is unusual because a lot of times people get hurt. It's either a leg injury and they can't really do other stuff. So the fact is he was able to function and do all the stuff when he was out. So yeah, you could definitely tell he's juiced up.
Yeah.
Like he don't look as big as like the last time when he came back, brolic. But the difference is he looks stronger, but he looks comfortable. You know what I mean?
Like fit, very fit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
fit.
don't look bulky or
Exactly.
nothing.
It looks like the last time it was like he put on weight. Yeah, I don't know how. I mean, what was he out? What was he out? 2 months? A month and a half? Almost 2 months?
6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah, 6 to 8 weeks. You know, this time it just looks like he added a little bit of muscle over that. You know, over that time, that 6 to 8 weeks. You know, so that's good. That's good for him. He looks good. He looks in shape. He looks good. Let me get to a phone call real quick. Caller, you're live. Your name and where you're from, please. Hello, caller, you there? It was Isaiah. He must have.
I was about to say it probably was Big Boa.
He must. Who knows when you're talking about Isaiah?
His girl came in the room. He picked the book up, got the phone.
Got off the phone and picked up the book. Yeah. Emmanuel Quickley, though, man. Do you think, how close is Emmanuel Quickley to being in that 6th Man of the Year candidate, Josh?
I think he's already there. I think he's already in that conversation. I know there's a lot of talk about Brogdon. Probably Tyrese Maxey's going to be in that conversation, but I think Quickley definitely needs to be in there. If you just look at what Quickley, Quickley's coming off the bench. He's not starting the game, obviously, but his contribution at the end of games, I think, is going to be huge for the Knicks. Down the stretch of the season and come playoff time. Like I said, I think having him out there as a third ball handler on the floor with Brunson and with Randall is going to make a big difference, in my opinion. And I think he belongs in the conversation. He was practically our only person coming off the bench for that time period where we had to start. Who was it? Hartenstein, and there was a time period where Mitchell Robinson was the only contribution off the bench. Obi was out, right, and he showed up for the most nights, right. So I think he definitely needs to be in that discussion, and I think he's going to be big for us come playoff time.
Yeah, no doubt about it, man. The bench Quickley 23 points. The bench scored 44 points tonight for the Knicks. 44 points, 10 rebounds, and 5 assists for the bench tonight for the Knicks.
Did we outdo him?
I need to look at Boston's, but I mean, even if we didn't, that's good.
I mean, we stepped up. Either way, we stepped up. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
We stepped up and matched their normal output.
No doubt. I got my man Spree on the line. Spree, what's popping with you, man?
Sam, remember when RJ said on media day that we're going to shock the world?
I remember that. Yes, sir. I remember that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm trying. I don't want to get crazy, but I deserve to get crazy. I deserve to think about the possibilities. I'm falling in love with this team. I think they're clicking now. We're clicking again, Sim, on both ends of the floor.
Yeah, no doubt. We're clicking, and it feels good. You heard Emmanuel Quickley talking about it in the postgame press conference that the chemistry of this team is. He said, it's at another level right now. With the chemistry of the team, and part of that is due to the stability of the team. Guys haven't been around for a while. You know what I mean? And then give kudos to the front office. They've been very selective on people that they're bringing into the organization, right? Very selective in making sure that they don't bring in wild cards. You know what I'm saying? And you got to give it up to the front office for that, because that goes into the chemistry that you see out there with the guys now.
Yeah. I mean, they like each other. They're playing for each other. They've been together a while now. Other than Hart, these guys have played together enough basketball now. So I think, look, we came into the year, saying that what it could be if it clicks. It's clicking now. Josh Hart to me is the wild card in this whole thing because he gives us a toughness. He gives us the energy. He pushes the ball. He has an accent for just being in the right or flying around and get the ball and just he can swing a game. And I'll give RJ this. Look, RJ, you talked about it early in the show, Sam. I totally agree with you. RJ drove you nuts for half of the time he was in there, and he did some crazy loosey-goosey things. He had one stretch that saved us, though. He made a big three, and he did take his time on a little post move where he actually just relaxed, take your time. RJ has talent, Sam. My whole thing with RJ is this. If he can just play a little – I'm not even asking RJ to be great. If he can just play a little more consistent for this team I'm watching right now, we can make a serious run. I'm saying it on this show right now. If RJ Barrett can just play a little bit better, we can make a serious run, Sim.
How serious? How serious is a serious run?
Here we go.
I think we can make the finals. Why not?
No, not yet.
We're making the finals. We might as well win the finals.
Word. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. If you're making it, you might as well. Let's just take it a game at a time. Let's settle in. We got the 5th seed. Now let's take small.
Let's stay in the playoffs.
We don't have the 5th seed yet. We don't have that yet.
Well, we're in the 5th seed right now.
No, you said we don't have it yet. We're in that spot. Right.
Okay. That's what I'm saying. We have it right now. Let's just, concentrate on getting that or securing that 5th seed.
Steps.
And then,
I agree with you. Baby steps. But can I just say this? Look, let me just say this. It's baby steps. I know I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm just saying this. We have a point guard now. Julius Randle, I don't really worry about him anymore. He's making the right plays on the floor now. I don't have to worry about Julius. A couple times he gets it out of his hands late, but whatever. He's playing so well. Mitchell Robinson, if he's healthy, is playing better than anybody right now. I mean, if RJ, we got Josh Hart. Quickley, I haven't had to worry about Quickley for 50 games because Emmanuel Quickley's playing like the 6th man of the year in the NBA. Toppin will give you stuff. I mean, my whole thing is this. If RJ can just play a little bit better for this team, where I don't know what I'm getting from RJ. If he can just play a little better. I'm not talking about being a star, Sim. I'm just talking about being better. If he can be better for this team, I don't know what we can do, but we can make some noise. Noise. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. All right. I'm just, I'm just enjoying it. And then when the playoffs come, seeing how they react and what they do in the playoffs.
Let's make the noise in the playoffs.
That's what I want to see. That's all I'm looking to see. I just want to make some noise in the playoffs. Yeah.
We're going to make some noise in the playoffs, and Randall's going to get MVP chance before the game. I'll be there, Sim, because this team right now, this team is exciting. This team will fight. The fans are back. We're all excited. You saw in DC what we did. So if they play defense like this, yeah, we're getting ahead of ourselves. It's just the regular season, but this is what we wanted to see, right? They're finally playing good basketball on both ends of the floor, and you can trust most of the guys on the team now. Like Brunson, last thing before I let you go, Brunson hasn't played that great the last few games, and we still won. That's what's impressive to me, that now Brunson hasn't really – yeah, we need Brunson. No mistake about it. He's the man. But he hasn't played great, and we're still winning. That's all I'm going to say. But you have a good night, Tim. I love you.
All right. Appreciate you, Spree.
All right, man.
Go ahead, Josh. Hold on for a minute, Spree. Oh, he hung up.
No, I mean, it's fine. I mean, I'll catch Spree again. I disagree in regards to if RJ takes the next step or whatever. The way RJ Barrett, I mean, the turnovers obviously you don't want. But what RJ Barrett is doing in key stretches of the game and playing his role, playing that type of role, I think that's what this team needs. So if he can do what he did, I want to say tonight, as far from a production standpoint and some of the little things moving forward for this team, I think that's what this team needs. We don't need RJ. My expectations for RJ, again, are not going to be for him to score 20 points a night. Like 10 to 15 points, playing his role, playing a little bit of defense, not turning the ball over, obviously. That every single night, and that consistency, I'm cool with that. We're going to get our points and all the other stuff from Brunson and from Randall, from Quickley. That's where the majority of our points are going to come from. Everything else, is extra, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? So as long as RJ continues to play the role that he's playing in right now, I think this team will be fine. We don't need RJ to do all that other stuff and play, have more production.
And you know what's crazy about a team is that as a team grows and evolves, like roles start to, you may come in and have one picture of what your role is, and then they start to change as the team grows and evolves. And you start to see, okay, well, where do I fit in best? What's best for the team and how do I fit into that? And you start to figure it out. Like it could end up being that Quickley and Brunson and Randall are the top scorers on the team at some point. Who knows? I mean, right now, RJ is still going to be one of your top scorers out there, but maybe his role is I'm gonna get in where I fit in. Who knows? You know what I'm saying? But as long as everybody's willing to play whatever role that is developed for them, and they continue to win basketball games doing it, you can't argue with it. I mean, basically, it would mean, listen, RJ had 14 shot attempts, right? So if RJ made 3 more of those baskets, it would have been, RJ played a decent game. You know what I'm saying? So, let's see if he can get more efficient. See if he can get more efficient. Go ahead, Tone.
And I think RJ also has 2 roles on this team. Like, if you notice when he's running with that second unit, like that's his time to shine per se. You know what I mean? In that first unit, I think he has a different role for the team. He's asked to do some different things. But as far as like a focal point, when you play with that second unit, when he gets those minutes with the second unit, you know what I mean? That's his time to kind of have those moments where he could take over a game.
Right. But even tonight, I seen RJ Barrett shine away from shots with the second unit. There was a play specifically that I remember where the Knicks ran a handoff to get RJ Barrett the ball to get Robert Williams swapped onto him. And without even taking the dribble, like RJ had him one-on-one, didn't even dribble, drive, and anything. He passed the ball out, right? So I think RJ's starting to realize that even in that role, in the second unit, that it's really not even his show. I think it's more about Quickley in that second unit and Josh Hart and those guys providing most of the production. I'm not saying RJ Barrett's completely shut out from the basketball. It's going to be times where he's going to need to handle it and make plays and have plays run for him. But I think in his current role and what he's doing, I'm not necessarily mad with it. I would want that to be more consistent every single night and for him to pick it up on the defensive end and not turn the ball over. But as far as what he's given us recently from a night in production-wise, I'm cool with it.
If you keep it 100, everybody's real role is just to make the right play. And I think when he doesn't make the right play, that's where we see the turnovers, some of the forced shots and those things. But I mean, it's clear in that second unit, he's the guy. You know what I mean? Not saying
that's not true. It's Quickley. I'm sorry. It's Quickley. I mean, Quickley's the guy in that second
unit.
The difference is Quickley's role doesn't change if he's in the starting unit or the first unit. That's the difference.
But Quickley's not a starter.
But
he plays with the first unit though.
At the end of games, Quickley doesn't have the ball in his hands. And in this unit, Quickley does have the ball in his hands. For RJ, neither of them. Quickley is the man in that second unit. I'm not saying anything bad against RJ. Please, chat, don't come down on me, anything like that. What I'm saying is RJ Barrett, to me, I feel like he's lost some confidence. He has, right? That's why he's not shooting as many shots. Like his shot numbers are way down compared to what they were at the beginning of the season. And he's been playing with the second unit the same amount of time, right? And that's no shade against him. He's taking less shots. I think he's better by taking less shots. He's more efficient that way.
How many shot attempts? What are his points per game average when he's running with that second unit? Him, between him and Quickley, when they're out there together on the floor, what does the who has the ball? And, what do those numbers look like?
I would have to look that up and find that stat. But I mean, I'm just saying, like, RJ Barrett doesn't have the same confidence that he had earlier in the season. And I think when Sim was talking about the roles and how the team gels and how the roles keep evolving, I just feel like naturally what has happened with RJ Barrett, because he's been struggling with the addition of Josh Hart, I think there's less shots for him to have anyway, especially now with the second unit, you add Josh Hart to the mix, right? So, and that's no shade against him. No shade against him. I just think right now, this is RJ's role. If he can be consistent with that, and provide valuable minutes whenever he is playing in that role, I think we're good. I think we're good with that. I'm cool with that.
And also too, I think that the reason why Hart was brought into the equation is because RJ had struggled with the second unit and everybody was keying in on Quickley, because Quickley is the only one that was coming off the bench that was getting buckets. You bring in a guy like Hart can score too, so you can't key in on Quickley the whole time. Now you got two guards to worry about, and RJ just kind of fits into wherever they need him to be.
Well, I understand what you're saying, but I think Josh Hart is more of, he's not really going to be creating his own shot. He's going to get it in transition. He's going to get it off of kickouts.
Right.
I think that's more what Josh Hart does, and how he gets his points.
But he can head the second unit is what I'm saying. Like that was their thought process when they brought him in. Like, we don't want to start him. We're going to let him this year head the second unit. And it fits. Everything fits. You got all your spots, everybody in the right positions.
Yeah,
you still trying to.
I don't know if he's the lead of that second unit. The lead of that second unit to me right now is Emmanuel Quickley. I think he's the lead.
On the scoring end, he is.
Unit, not Josh Hart.
No, but
I'm talking about.
Simmons saying they running plays through Quickley is the one orchestrating. They're running plays through Quickley specifically for him. For the most part, RK's gonna get his. They're gonna run some plays for him, but for the most part, that it's Emmanuel Quickley.
No, I agree. I agree with that. But I'm just saying, you bring in a guy like Hart to kind of head that second unit, and Quickley can score. And I actually think Quickley's better off the ball. I don't want him with a ball in his hands. I want him off the ball, and I want a guy like Hart to be the lead guard. I think those two just work really well together, and Quickley's a great catch and shoot type of dude.
I get it. But Quickley's going to be the creator out there, in my opinion, in that second unit.
Agreed.
The one thing that Josh Hart does bring to this team, though, that I really like, and I'm going to get to a phone call, he adds to the IQ of this team.
Yep.
Like, he really, really adds to the basketball IQ, and I think it was needed. Jalen Brunson added, and then now he came and added more, to that basketball IQ. And I think it's huge for this basketball team. You know what I'm saying? And just being able to make the right plays at the right time. He's good in transition, not only scoring in transition, but finding people in transition. Getting the ball up the court to the right person. He's a low turnover guy. You know what I mean? He very, very heady, very smart, and you need as many of those guys around as possible. You know what I mean? So, he's brought so many things to this team so far. The Knicks so far 6-0 with Josh Hart in the lineup. 6-0 with Josh Hart. Caller, you're live. Tell me your name and where you're from.
What's going on, Sim? Shout out. It's Walter White.
Walter, what's up, man?
Hey.
How you feeling, bro?
Another night I'm feeling good, man. I caught him. The Boston was giving us 2.5. I put $100 on it. I'm up $100, so I feel good about that. Listen, IQ, man. I be on Facebook. That's where I live, and I always tell them IQ, man. IQ has been stepping his game up, increments, stepping it up, and right now, I hate to see him in the playoffs. We gonna see. I hack. Played a good game. I didn't see the lead dwindle when he came in the game. He still made a few blunders, a few fouls, but I didn't see the lead dwindle. The team is looking good. Josh Hart. I listened to him. His talking. He's smarter than I thought he was. I didn't know a whole lot about him, but he's a very smart player. Could be a coach on the floor, how Jason Kidd was a few years ago. Man, we look good. I like the win tonight. I like how I looked. It was against a depleted Boston team.
Mm-hmm.
And I say, I don't care if we win, but I do care if we win. I care. But without Jaylen Brown, there's always going to be that asterisk saying like, we didn't have Jaylen Brown, they lost. But man, the Knicks are looking good. We streaking.
There'll be a question there. That'll be there. But the Knicks beat them with Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum in the lineup as well. right? And
and we see him in a couple days.
And we see him in a couple of days. And then, of course, when the Knicks played Boston last, Mitch wasn't there. So they both played each other without key personnel out there on the floor. And then, of course, towards the end of this game, Jason Tatum got himself ejected, because he was upset and got a technical. The Knicks were up 13, 14 points at that point in time anyway, with like 3 minutes left to go in the game. I was surprised, though. Jason Tatum normally keeps his cool, but the game was physical. So, maybe he got a little bit frustrated. I guess he got a little bit frustrated out there. But I was surprised that he got himself ejected in this game. You know what I mean? Jason Tatum is usually cool. But that fuels, like Tony was saying earlier, they play again this week. So there's going to be some venom in the air. You know what I mean? Jason Tatum got himself ejected. The game was hotly contested. The Knicks got a 2-1 lead. The Celtics don't want to give up the season series to the Knicks, so that's going to be a battle the next time they play. When do they play? Sunday or something like that? That's going to be a good one.
We're going to be on an 8-0 run.
If we play anybody in our conference, in our division, in the Eastern Conference Finals, they might have problems. If we make it to the Eastern Conference Finals and have to play somebody in our division, they going to have issues. Because they don't want to play the Knicks right now. They ain't definitely going to want to play them in the playoffs. Let somebody get hurt, God forbid. But, another one thing, too. Shout out to Tony Crow. Shout out to Uncle Foodie. I heard you on the mailbag, Ian Bagley. Shout out to Nate Dogg. And hashtag NBA, MBK fam.
Appreciate you, my brother.
Make sure y'all hit that like on the way out. Shout out to the chat. Hit that like on the way out. You know what I mean? Boost them likes. We love these people, and we need them likes to go to the top. You know what I mean? But yeah, man. Listen, man. Oh, this was such a good win, and I didn't expect it. I wanted it, but I didn't expect it. Oh yeah, another thing too. My cousin was listening to the last one. He was like, "You ain't from Atlanta." I'm from the Bronx. I'm a Bronx bomber. I live in Atlanta. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no doubt. Hey, Walter, I appreciate you, man.
I live in the... Yeah, no doubt.
No doubt. All right, peace. Let me get to a couple of super chats here. Go ahead. While I'm getting the super chats up, go ahead.
Well, shout out to Ian Begley for putting me on the mailbag. But
yeah, we know you spelt your name wrong.
Yeah, who did that? You know what I'm saying? Did I piss somebody off at SNY or something? Like, who swaps the N and the O to make it sound like the not-troversy? It's the controversy, people. You know what I mean? But thank you to Ian Begley for answering my question. I appreciate it.
Typo. It's a typo. Okay. Typo. What are you going to do?
Right.
It happens. It's a typo. You know what I mean?
There's a minion working for him.
Shout out to Kareem Jones.
One of the producers, the minion.
He said, what more can you ask for? Hashtag they sleep. No doubt. You can't ask for much more than what the Knicks gave you tonight, besides to keep giving it to you and to keep winning, right?
Maybe a Heat loss would have been nice.
Well, yeah, but we can't control that. DJ Shuttle said the unsung hero for me is Grimes, who was the primary defender on Tatum. Yeah, Grimes did a great job tonight playing defense and obviously frustrating Jason Tatum. Yep. Kevin Bergen said, I'm very interested to see what we do with IQ and Josh Hart. That situation, I don't think we can pay both of them. But the Knicks don't have to pay Emmanuel Quickley for a couple of years. You know what I mean? So they got some time to work through it and figure some things out. Plus, you'll have Derrick Rose probably coming off the books. By the time you got to pay Emmanuel Quickley, Fournier be gone. His money will probably be off the books. So there'll be some ways. Hartenstein, you know what I mean? There'll be some ways to be able to get it done. The thing that you got to be concerned about with someone like with Emmanuel Quickley is that other teams, don't come in and try to either pay him more money, or if one of those star players come around, they may look at Quickley as a lot of value. You know what I mean? With how much money he makes right now, but what he can produce on the floor, they're going to look at that and say, yeah, if we can get him right now, he's going to he's going to outplay what we're actually paying him. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, I think Quickley's making like $2-point-something million this year. You know, so that's one thing that I'm going to be worried about when those trade talks pick back up. Teams are going to be, they're going to want Emmanuel Quickley. And I'm interested to see how the front office approaches that situation when it comes to Quickley. You know what I mean? Because, you know, he's going to have a lot of value around the league, in my opinion. The Knicks win the rebounding battle tonight, 44-35 over the Boston Celtics. 20 assists for the Knicks, 21 for the Celtics. The Knicks, 6 steals, 3 blocks for the Knicks, 8 blocks for the Celtics. Both teams with only 11 turnovers. The Knicks shot the ball 47% from the field. They shot 38.7% from 3 and 67% from the free throw line. In the Celtics, they shot 44% from the field and only 21% from 3. 78.6% from the free throw line. The Celtics had 52 points in the paint. The Knicks had 42. 11 second chance points by the Celtics, 17 by the Knicks. And the Knicks 10 fast break points to the Boston Celtics 8 fast break points. The Celtics were actually led in scoring by Malcolm Brogdon. The Knicks were led by Julius Randle. Jason Tatum had 7 rebounds for the Celtics. He got ejected from tonight's game. Jason Tatum also had 9 assists for the Celtics. But he didn't do nothing down the last 3 minutes of the game. You know, because he was ejected. Caller, you're live. Tell me your name and where you're from, please.
What's going on, Sam? What's going on, panel? It's your boy, the Afro Jedi with the red eyes. It's been a minute, man.
Afro Jedi, what's popping, my friend? How you feeling, man?
I'm feeling great, man. 6 wins. You can't be happier than that, man. I had to light one up to celebrate and all that. But I want to say something real quick. Everybody who jumped off the Julius Randle hype train, I want $20 right now, man. My Cash App is open. I need it, man. We are the 5th seed? The 5th seed? People was talking crazy. Get rid of Randle. Get rid of Randle. I was telling y'all, man, all it was a mental thing, man. You bring somebody in like Jalen Brunson, you bring somebody that's going to take the ball out of his hands and calm him down, man. He's going to be an all-star. What do you do? Became an all-star. I just want to say, man, let's go Knicks, bro. Let's get 6 more. And I just want to hear what's your predictions, man. What's your predictions for the end of the season? We winding down. I want to hear some good things, man.
Predictions as far as where the Knicks going to end up?
Yeah.
I mean, I think the Knicks probably end up in the 5th seed. You know, the Cleveland Cavaliers are 14 games above 500. You know, there's only about 20 games left to the season. You know, things would really have to go perfect, in my opinion, for the Knicks to get into that 4th seed. You know, although they got 25 losses, the Knicks are only at 27 losses. All right, so in the loss column, they're pretty close. In the win column, they're actually pretty close in the win column, right? They've got 39 wins. The Knicks got 36 wins. The Knicks got to keep winning, and then the Cavs got to lose a couple of games, you know, in order for that to happen. So, you know, we'll see. But I predict the Knicks will end up in that 5th seed, playing the Cleveland Cavaliers in the first round, which I think is
that's what I got too.
Yeah. I think that'll be a good matchup, though.
With everything you just said. Yeah, I mean, that could go either way, too. That matchup could go either way. But, yo, man, I just want to sit back and listen in while I celebrate a little bit more, man. Another 6 win streak, man. You can't be happier than that, man.
No doubt. I appreciate you, my brother.
Yeah.
All right, peace.
Yes, sir. Y'all be easy, man. Have a good night.
Peace.
You too, man. Have a good night.
Tony, you was getting ready to say something?
Nah, I was just saying we coming for that 4th seed, man. We want our crown back. That's our natural. You know what I mean? That's where our throne sat. We coming back for our 4th seed, and we coming to take it. And then I was asking, we play Cleveland one more time, right?
I think so. I think we probably playing one more time.
You know what I mean? So
Tony, I mean, I get it. I want to win as many games as I can, but the 4th seed is really like a thing for you. Like, like I'm worried about the playoffs. I'm sorry. Like this, everything we're watching, I'm happy. I'm so happy that what the Knicks are doing right now. But we seen this show 2 years ago. Literally 2 years ago, the Knicks went on the same winning streak. When we got into the playoffs and we laid an egg. I want to see them perform in the playoffs. This regular season stuff, 4, 5, 6, wherever we finish.
So let me enjoy this ride. And we
you got it. You got it.
I mean? I'm talking smack right now. I want that throne back. That's how natural. I mean, that's our spot right there.
We got to earn that
get
throne.
Back there.
I mean, both teams. Both teams have, a tough schedule coming up. I think. The Cleveland Cavaliers, they play Boston on Wednesday. Then they play Detroit. Then they play Boston on Monday. Then they play Miami. Then they play Miami again. Then they play Charlotte in a, home and home. Oh, actually, they play Charlotte. They're in Charlotte for 2 games, actually. Then they play Philadelphia.
Melo's probably going to be out for the season.
Yeah, he broke his ankle.
He's out. Yeah,
he's out for the season. Then they play Philadelphia, the Wizards, Brooklyn, and then Brooklyn again. 2 away games in Brooklyn. Houston, Atlanta. Then they play the Knicks on March 31st. Then they play Indiana, Orlando, and then Charlotte. They got
fairly
a lot of teams.
Easy schedule.
They got a pretty light schedule for real. You know what I'm saying? Coming, for the remainder of the season. I mean, they play Detroit. That's light. Charlotte, the Wizards, Brooklyn, Houston, Orlando, Charlotte again. So that's a pretty light schedule to end the season.
That's a fact.
Yeah. That's
can I throw something in there?
Yeah, go ahead.
And I thought we played them. If we don't play them, then
no, we do play them. We do play them.
Oh, we do play them. All right, so we taking that.
We play them late in the season. We play them like March 31st. But up to that point, and then after that, their schedule is just light. You know what I mean? And the Knicks' schedule is definitely tougher than that, I believe. Obviously, with the way things have gone with Brooklyn, they're no longer a powerhouse. But the Knicks play Brooklyn, Miami, Boston, Charlotte. Sacramento's a good team. They play the Clippers. They play the Lakers. They play Portland. They play Denver, Minnesota, Miami.
Ooh.
They get a break with Orlando, a break with Houston. Then they're back with Miami, Cleveland, the Wizards, Pacers, the Pelicans, and Pacers.
That's us, right?
That's us. That's the Knicks. So the Knicks got a little bit of a
tougher schedule. We go to the West Coast. And I think we go to the West Coast.
Yeah, because the tournament, Big East tournament.
Yeah. Right, exactly.
Right.
So they got a 1, 2, 3, 4 game West Coast swing. Sacramento, Clippers, Lakers, Portland.
Whew.
Yep. So
that'd be tough.
The Knicks have the tougher schedule. Cleveland has the lighter schedule. So
yeah, I ain't gonna front. That's way too light. I ain't know it was like that. Yo.
They got a light schedule.
Yeah.
But
they like 9 gimmies.
but you know what? Like the thing is, like I'm okay with the 4th or 5th. It really doesn't matter in my opinion because honestly, the Knicks are really good on the road. They've played better ball on the road, and I'm confident that the Knicks can go in on the road and steal a game in a series and then go back home. Like I actually think we're better off starting on the road than starting at home because there's just more pressure. You got younger guys. You just don't know how they're going to respond those first 2 games. And I'd rather play on the road. I think the Knicks, I've seen the Knicks on the road and I've been very impressed with them. They play really good, sometimes better than they play at home.
Yeah, I just want to see the Knicks, whether it's on the road or at home, I want to see them have a better performance in the playoffs. Because, ultimately that's going to be.
Thank you.
That's all we want. Yeah, exactly.
Ultimately, that's going to be the determining factor, or I don't want to say determining factor. Well, I guess it is the determining factor on how they proceed in the offseason. Right? That's going to, how they perform in the playoffs. Now the front office is going to say, okay, did, we took one of the top teams to 7 games, or we took the whatever team that went to the finals to 7 games. You know what I'm saying? So, we're this close. All we need to add is such and such and such, or, however it is. If they get swept, then they may, farther away than we thought. So I just want to see the Knicks perform adequately in the playoffs. That's the big key for me.
Sim,
yeah.
Latay Israel says, Josh, stop it. That was 2 years ago. Listen, I think this is a different team than 2 years ago. I get it. I'm not trying to say that the Knicks are doomed for the same fate. No, I think this team is a better team, right? I'm just saying I'm drawing a lot of parallels for what happened 2 years ago in regards to how things are transpiring, right? Not that many expectations coming into the season. You play some decent basketball for the first half, trade deadline comes, or right before then, you acquire someone like Derrick Rose, takes your team to the next level. You go on a huge winning streak to prepare you to the 4th seed, right? The same thing that we're witnessing right now. Literally, I draw those parallels. And all I'm saying is, like Sim just said, I want to see, my expectations have changed for this team now. Before, I didn't have that many expectations, but now expectations are going to change throughout the season, and this team has shown me that they're a good team. So, Knicks being a good team, you need to perform in the playoffs. And I'm not saying we have to win a playoff series. I'm just saying I want to see them perform, because I think ultimately, like Sim said, that's going to be how teams are going to judge us and how the front office is going to evaluate the team to decide what moves to make next.
You know what the difference is, though? Like I asked you earlier, are you confident in the team? You wasn't very confident. That's the difference.
From before? I was very
I'm talking about this team. Whatever happens in the playoffs, are you confident that this team is going to perform?
Yeah.
You didn't say that earlier.
I did say that. I said earlier. No, you said that. You said you can tell by my voice that that's the way I was. I feel confident. I'm very confident about this team, just like I was 2 years ago when we were the favorites in that Atlanta series, and I thought we should at least push that series to 7 because we were favorites by it was like a 1.5 spread or something like that, right? So I feel the same way about this current team. We got to see who the matchup's going to be, but regardless, whoever we play, the Knicks have shown the ability to compete. And I want to see that. I don't want to see us getting blown off the court for 3 of those games in the playoff series. I don't want to see that. This team is better, way better than what I saw 2 years ago in that regard.
My thing is I can't see that. I can't see it no matter who it is. You know what I mean? And that's based off what I've seen this year. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like that season. I think there was a few teams that in particular, and the Hawks was one of them, that I felt like it was just a bad matchup. You know what I mean? Like, I kind of didn't want that particular matchup.
That bad of a matchup? That bad of a matchup for us to get blown out 3 games?
What?
That bad of a matchup for us to get blown out in 3 of those games?
We could have contained Trae Young.
Absolutely not. But I knew I didn't like the matchup, is what I'm saying. This team, I feel like it's not very many matchups that I don't like, especially in the East and the teams that are you know what I mean, definitively in the playoffs. I feel like we can compete with any one of those guys.
Hold on, Nate. But I think a bad matchup is different than not competing, right? That's two separate things. A bad matchup can be the difference between you winning and losing a series because of certain things, but you can still keep those games close. What I'm talking about is keeping the games close. Like, whether the matchups are bad or not, I still think we can compete with any team, just like we did before. We can compete with any team, but they didn't give me that performance. They didn't compete with Atlanta.
Like the gentleman said, that already happened. There's no arguing whether we compete.
No, but he was arguing with me. Oh, that was 2 years ago. I'm just saying that's what I want to see this team do, and I believe that they can. So show me now. That's all I'm saying.
The big difference from that team to this team is, like, in the series against the Hawks, all we had was Randall. They keyed in on Randall and they took him out of the game, and we couldn't stop Trae Young on the other side because we had no lead guard to match those points. Now we have a lead guard that can match the points, and Randall is not going to get double teamed all the time because you can't leave Jalen Brunson open or RJ open. You got Quickley now. Hell, you got Hart. You know, I mean,
and all that you just said, Nate, all of that got us to the 4th seed, and that my expectations were increased. Yeah. I'm saying the same thing for this team. I get it. It's a different team. I agree with you.
Yeah.
But my expectations that they got to perform. That's all.
Sure,
I'm saying.
absolutely.
Yeah, we got to perform. Let's listen to Tom Thibodeau and hear what he thinks about and feels about tonight's win versus the Boston Celtics, and what he's feeling in general about this basketball team. It's Tom Thibodeau. Maybe it's not Tom Thibodeau.
It seemed like
there we go.
You were getting it from everywhere.
Yeah, I thought it was a good, solid team win. Obviously, their record tells you how good they are, and they can make up ground very quickly because of the way they shoot the three. Their shot profile is terrific, so no lead feels safe with them.
I think Mitch had a little tone early with that block on Tatum, and I think he had a block and pass for a steal the next possession.
Yeah, he's an elite defender. Obviously, the rim protection, even if he's not blocking, they're looking for him. And he's got great discipline in the restricted. And then offensively, just creating the extra possessions and doing what he does there, it's big for us. And then I thought we got good bench play. We had good all-around play.
There was a play in the fourth quarter where Mitch gets a block, and then he beat everybody down the floor. I forget who missed the jumper, but Mitch ends up getting him put back on that position because he just had such good positioning. How much of his evolution and really becoming the level of offensive rebounder that he's at is because of his ability to just beat guys down the floor? I remember last year conditioning was a big
yeah, I think obviously 2 summers ago he was limited because of the foot injury, and then I think when you look at his body, the overall conditioning, the strength combined with his conditioning, he's changing ends of the floor. He's making multiple effort plays. We're seeing a ton of pick and roll. Most teams are heavy pick and roll teams in the league. So you got to get up at the point of attack. Then you got to drop the roller. Then you got to protect the rim. Then you got to close out. Then you got to finish with the rebound. So most of his plays require 2, 3, 4 efforts. And then offensively run the floor, set screens, roll hard to the rim. And I think our guys are doing a better job now of reading when his man's coming, and we're connecting with that. It's helping us to create much better rhythm. And the threat of him at the rim pulls people in, which opens up the corner threes, which is high value as well.
I know you always say you don't want to look ahead, but where you are right now, what tonight's game and 6 straight wins, is this showing you that you guys are maybe something?
Well, and again, it's like it's where we are in the season, and we start off with the idea of let's get better every day, and then you begin the season with the end in mind, knowing that you want to be playing your best at the end. So you're trying to make deposits each and every day, all the way through. And then, but it's easy to get sidetracked in this league because of all the distractions, the length of the schedule. So you want to establish your routines and build your habits, do the right things, and understand this game tonight, feel good tonight, and then tomorrow we got to get ready for Brooklyn. And tonight's win will have nothing to do with the Brooklyn game. So the Brooklyn game, we know we have to be right and ready for them. And that's the challenge you face in the league, and that's the beauty of this league.
There were a lot of moments last year where you talked about finishing quarters and finishing halves, like not letting up the last quarter, the last minute, whatever it was. This, especially during this run, you guys have really, another team comes with a run, you guys stave it off, you guys make a run of your own. There's a lot of overlap on players on this team who were there last year. What are they doing now that they weren't executing?
I thought the second half of last year we improved a lot last year as well. We got hit early on with injury, and then we got hit with the COVID too, so that factored into last year's season. But last year was last year. This year is this year. It's different. And we always talk about, and we lay out a plan at the beginning of the year, the first 5 minutes of the game, last 5 of the half, first 5 of the third, obviously the last 5 of the game are crucial periods. So you want to be ready, alert, aware, and on top of it. So those points of the game are very, very important.
You guys have been rolling along pretty well during the streak offensively. I think we said it was 120 something per game. Did you enjoy having a game like this once in a while where this was sort of...
I'm very biased to winning. So I really, oftentimes everybody's pigeonholed into something. You're a defensive guy, you're an offensive guy, you're a player development guy, you're this, you're that, whatever it is. I like to think I'm a basketball coach, and I've worked for people that expected you to do all three. So they expected you to be able to coach offense, coach defense, player develop, game plan, scout, evaluate personnel, and that's the way I approach it. And so I think having a good understanding of defense also helps you offensively, and it gives you an idea of matchups and then how to attack certain schemes. So I think all that stuff helps. And then have good players. That helps a lot.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was Tom Thibodeau. And, you know, the more the Knicks win, I know a lot of people always say, you know, you hear the same thing from Tom Thibodeau over and over and over again. But the more the Knicks win, the more what he says makes sense when he's up there talking. You know what I'm saying? Any comments from either one of you just about what you heard from Tom Thibodeau?
Well, quote of the night for me is when you have good players, that helps. You know,
well, yeah.
Like I mean, that I don't think it was a dig at all. It was more of a testament of he likes the guys he has right now.
Right.
You know what I mean?
No doubt about it.
And I just want to add, for all those that, you know, criticize Tom Thibodeau for all that stuff beginning of the season, now you see why Tibbs made the decisions that he's made. Mike Breen mentioned it numerous times throughout the broadcast today. You know, going to the 9-man rotation. People were very critical of that. You know, criticizing the substitutions, all that stuff. And now Tibbs is winning ball games because of it, right? How can anybody at this point argue that the Knicks aren't developing and have something going with their development? Look at Emmanuel Quickley and where he was 2 years ago. Not being someone known for his defense, now Tibbs is putting him in there to play defense. Like, and Quentin Grimes and Mick, you know what I'm saying? Like, look at all that stuff. So I just hope that, you know, people can kind of put that to bed, you know, and you know, just appreciate Tom Thibodeau for who he is and what we got going on right now, because there is a culture that's being built. There's a very big culture, and I feel very optimistic about what's to come for this team, if not this season, in the next couple years.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully this season, I mean, you already got the building blocks and you got the foundation, and hopefully they can get into the playoffs. If they surprise us and do something really, really great, you know, that's even better. But, you know, they can, you know, you can really get a barometer of where they're going to be when it comes playoff time, you know, and how they play during the playoffs. So you understand what to add. Right?
Yep.
When you get into the offseason, and I'm not afraid either, me personally, with the way that this team is, if during this offseason, if the Knicks don't add anything else because it's not the right player, I won't be mad. I'd be willing to say, okay, let them grow again until the right player comes. I don't want to just add anything and anyone just because. I don't want to just add anyone. It's got to be, you know, it's got to be the right guy.
Would you consider Donovan Mitchell anyone, looking back on what we were saying in the offseason?
No, I think he would have been.
Based on that criteria.
I think he would have been one of the right guys. You know what I'm saying? Because the right guys also, you know, I think just what I've seen so far from the front office, you know, character means a lot to them and who they add to your team. And I think Donovan Mitchell has good character. Obviously, you know, he's a guy that can score the basketball and do those type of things. So, you know, I think that's part of it too. And for me, that's part of it too. You know what I mean? Not just throwing anybody out there just because they have.
I agree with you 100%. I agree with you 100%.
And you know what? You might have swayed my opinion a little bit. You know what I mean? Because I was giving them a pass from the beginning, and it's not because I didn't like Donovan Mitchell. Because I still like him, and I wouldn't have been mad if we did it. I just not mad that they didn't do it. But the fact that I never factored in that part, you know what I mean, at his age. You know what I mean? I factored in everything else, but the character at his age, you know what I mean, that actually changes. That means a lot more, you know what I mean? Like, especially thinking about when you try to think about, okay, he's off the table, who is potentially next on that list? I wasn't even thinking about the character per se, you know what I mean? Which I think does mean a lot.
Yeah, it definitely means a lot because, one bad apple, boy, it could, yeah, as we've seen, it could tear everything down. Okay, thank you for the super chat. He said,
Starting trouble. Starting trouble.
If you're starting a team and you have to choose out of IQ, RJ, or Grimes as your centerpiece, who do you pick?
Go first, Tony.
No, that's Sim super chat. I'm not answering that question.
I will. I will greatly. Go ahead.
Right now, and this is, I'm not even gonna lie to you. Right now, this is purely from recency bias. I'd go with IQ. I'm not even gonna lie. I'd go with IQ.
I would go with Quentin Grimes.
Okay. All right.
No shade to Quickley.
Okay. I'm not gonna reveal my answer, but I already said this years ago. So if some the real ones might remember what I said years ago.
Yeah. So it's anyway, the Knicks got all three of them on this team, and we'll see where they can go with it. The Knicks play Brooklyn next. Is it in Brooklyn or is it home? I don't know.
It's in Brooklyn.
Either way, it's home.
It's in Brooklyn, right? Right. So the Knicks go to Brooklyn to take on the Nets. If they beat the Nets, it's possible the Knicks could be 2 games above the Nets in the standings. The Nets play Milwaukee tomorrow.
Yeah.
Right? So if they lose to Milwaukee tomorrow, which there's a good chance they will, if they lose to Milwaukee tomorrow, the Knicks will be 1 full game above the Nets. And then if the Knicks beat the Nets on Wednesday, the Knicks will be 2 full games above the Brooklyn Nets for that 5th seed. All right. And, looking at the way things are now, I'm going to be honest, after the trade went down, I thought the Nets I thought they had a chance to play 500 ball and maybe, maintain where they are because they were 10 games above 500. Right. Looking now, I don't know, maybe not. Maybe
they still can, Sam. They're competitive. They compete. They don't. Obviously not doing what they were doing before with those 2 superpowers that they had. But they compete. I like Cam Johnson. I like Mikal Bridges. I think we can't sleep on Brooklyn. You know what I mean? I think we're gonna win that game, but I think they're gonna give us a run for our money because of I like Cam Johnson. He's capable 3-point shooter, 3-and-D. Mikal Bridges the same. You know what I mean? And Spencer Dinwiddie is no pushover either. So
I hear you, but they didn't compete the other night.
You're right. Well, didn't they lose? They lost to what's the name? Cam Johnson hit the tying shot, and then Trae Young killed him at the end. That was their last game, I believe, that they played.
I think he's talking about we played them since.
Oh, when we played them. Oh, yeah.
But the other night when the Knicks played the Wizards, they got who they play?
Oh, you talking the Bulls or something?
Chicago.
It was the Bulls. Yeah. They lost by
They got smacked.
But the game after that, they took it down to the wire. Cam Johnson hit the game tying 3, and then Trae Young beat them at the buzzer.
Yeah,
to win that game. So.
So we'll see if they, we'll see what the Nets do. I don't know if they're going to be able to maintain. I think they'll still be in the play-in. At least, I think they'll be in the play-in. But I don't know. If
the Brooklyn game is at Madison Square Garden. You're right.
Oh, it is at the Garden.
Earlier, I just remembered.
Okay.
Yeah, and then Miami's on the road and Boston's on the road.
Right.
Dog shuttle. My bad.
And Miami lost tonight. Miami won tonight. I'm sorry, over Philadelphia.
Did they? I thought they won. They won.
Yeah, Miami beat Philadelphia 101-99 tonight. So the Knicks.
And Philly's been on a shaky stretch too. Just to throw that out there. You know what I mean? Like it's more games for them to have to drop. But you know what I mean? It's not just the Cavs that could, you know what I mean, that we chasing.
They're 18 games above 500 though. And they have they've played 60 games, so they got like 22 games left. 6-4 in the last 10. They've lost 2 in a row. The Cleveland Cavaliers 7-3 in the last 10. They're 39-25, and of course the Knicks are 36-27, 8-2 in the last 10. They've won 6 in a row. As a matter of fact, the Knicks have the second longest winning streak in the league right now, behind the Bucks, who they're on a 14-game win streak. Charlotte's on a 5-game win streak right now. Yeah.
And they got Phoenix on Wednesday. I think Kevin Durant's coming back for that game.
Okay. And the Knicks in the latest NBA.com power rankings, the Knicks are 7th in those power rankings.
Like Melo.
7th in those power rankings. So, things looking good for the Knicks right now, ladies and gentlemen. They're looking good. Any last words before we get out of here?
Controversy tomorrow, 6 p.m. I'm going to be on with Lee Escobedo from Nick of Time Show, and also writes for Deadspin and Posting and Toasting. So definitely make sure to check that out. And listen, ladies and gentlemen, we've been 3/4 of the way through the season, right? You know, we've seen how good this team could be. I just want to reiterate, with that comes increased expectations, right? I'm not trying to fast forward to the playoffs. We still have to finish the season out. But typically at this point, you can tell the kind of team that we have. You know what I'm saying? Despite where we finish in the standings, 4th, 5th, 6th, whatever, you can tell the type of team that we have. And I think with that, it's going to come some increased playoff expectations. So just look out for that.
Okay.
What y'all talking about?
DJ Shuttle said, hashtag race to 50. They need to go 14-5 to get to 50. Can they get to 50?
Yeah, they can.
14-5? They can. It's possible. It's possible. It's definitely possible.
We're going to be talking about Lee Escobedo does not like Tibbs, so we're going to definitely talk about that and bring up Tibbs. He wrote some articles, some things I want to talk about. But also the main topic of the show is going to be, are the Knicks for real? That same question that me and Sim were talking about earlier. And I'll kind of elaborate my position on that, and I'm going to get his, and it's going to be fun.
All right. No doubt about it. Tony, any last words?
Always a pleasure, man. We on a roll. Sleep well. Shout out to the chat, man. And Your Blackest Time. If y'all ain't see my show earlier, go back, check the rewind. It was another great one. Had a noon show. Something different today because of the game. But yeah.
No doubt. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm out of here. I just got the announcement too that Wu-Tang and Nas are doing another New York State of Mind tour. So yeah, a worldwide tour.
You go.
But I'm going to one of those. There's gonna be 2 of them in DC. I'm definitely hitting one of them. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I'm out of here. I appreciate your time. Peace.
This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When Sim passed the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock, who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place you tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.